Good evening, students. I hope you're doing well today. I hope you've had a great beginning of your week. We are in week 3 now of exploring the New Testament together. And as I mentioned last night, I was able to get a posting out that your week 3 assignments went live yesterday morning, and those are now available for you. And again, if you do have questions at all about your assignments, please do reach out to me with those questions. First of all, I want to thank you all again for just your patience. I had a significant computer issue. I think you got my updates on Sunday, which affected some of your papers that I'm actually still working on getting some of the week 1 assignments graded and returned to you. And again, I apologize for that. That was circumstances that were outside of my control, and so I'm still somewhat dealing with those, but working to get your the rest of your week 1 assignments returned to you with feedback. And again, I did send a message out that if you are a student that was affected to where you did not get your week 1 assignments back, whether that was the reflection or the accomplishment, everyone should have gotten back your discussion. And some of you got back all of your assignments, but there were some that didn't get back a reflection or didn't get back an accomplishment. So if that is you, please do reach out to me. As I mentioned before, that it's only fair for me as your teacher to be able to get your assignments back to you on time so that you're able to look over the feedback and so that you can see any ways that you need to improve from week to week. And so if you, once you get your week 1 assignments back, if you were one of those that did not get your assignment back, before you turned in either a week 2 reflection or a week 2 accomplishment paper, then I will allow you to see your feedback and to be able to resubmit your paper if you choose to do that. Please do reach out to me with that. Now in saying that, I do have a list of the students that did not get their paper back. So if you did receive your assignments back in time, then that does not apply to you. But for students that did not get their week 1 assignments back, then that option is available for you. And again, I appreciate you as you were working, as you were kind of just hanging with me as I was trying to get that issue resolved. And again, I'm working to get the rest of those assignments graded and returned to you. But in saying that, as I mentioned, your week 2 assignment or week 3 assignments went live Monday morning, and those are now available for you. So let me just go over those with you, and then I do want to go over just some feedback, things I was seeing in your week 1 assignments and ways that you can improve on your work going forward. The article you're going to read for this week out of the ESV is on the reliability of the New Testament manuscripts. And so that's going to be the article that you're going to be focusing on. And then there are some lectures that kind of correspond with that article. And then also there is some supplemental resources that are available. Those are primarily going to be helpful with your reflection and your discussion and your accomplishment paper this week. So there is an article you're going to be reading out of the ESV, and then your scripture reading for this week is going to be coming from the Gospel of Matthew and also the Gospel of Luke. And so as I mentioned last week, as you're reading through specifically the scripture verses, make sure that you are reading over the footnotes connected with the verses, as those are going to help you to be able to understand fully the context of the passage that you're reading. Now, your assignments this week, as it was in week 1 and week 2, you're going to have 4 assignments. You'll have your unit quiz, your discussion, your reflection, and your accomplishment paper. And so your reflection for this week, or your discussion for this week, is going to be focusing on the importance of the resurrection. And so you're going to be looking primarily at Luke, the Gospel of Luke, chapter 24, the opening 12 verses, and you're going to be talking about the importance of the resurrection of Jesus Christ. And then your reflection for this week is going to be coming from Matthew chapter 6, dealing with the Lord's Prayer. And then your accomplishment paper this week is also going to be looking at a summarization of the crucifixion and the resurrection passages coming from Luke as well. But then you can also go to other portions of the Bible, because the resurrection is discussed in all 4 Gospels. So you can go into Matthew, Luke, Mark and John to be able to get additional information there. And again, that's why those footnotes are important, because those footnotes will take you to other parts of the Bible to be able to help answer those questions. So again, make sure if you have any questions at all about your assignments, please do reach out to me with those. Now, in saying that, I did want to go over a couple things of what I was noticing with each one of your assignments. The first would be, in regards to your discussion, one of the ways that you can achieve excellence on your feedback is when you'll notice, if you're looking in your level of achievement, in order to receive an excellent in that section, your replies back to your classmates have to promote further discussion. So one of the best ways to do that is to ask a probing question. So if you are responding back to your classmate, you can ask a challenging probing question to them that could promote further discussion. Now, your classmate might not respond back to you, but they might. So by doing that, again, you're promoting further discussion. Now, with your reflection, one of the things I want to mention about the reflection, and again with the scoring rubric, so hopefully all of you have had time to go over the scoring rubric. I know for some, this is the first time you've been graded by a scoring rubric. So please understand, when you're looking at the scoring rubric, each one of those rubrics has a section. And so you're being graded on that specific section. So, for instance, with your discussion, you're being graded on your understanding, your replies back to your classmates, and then your grammar. And then with your reflection, you're being graded on your understanding of the material that you're reading for the reflection. You're being graded on your personal reflection, your application, and then your grammar. So with the reflection, you have 4 sections that you're being graded on. And you'll notice that typically with the reflection, I'm asking 3 different questions. So the reflection is designed, or the questions are designed to be able to fulfill each one of the sections in the scoring rubric. So if, for instance, you don't answer a question, say you don't answer a question that's dealing with application. Well, if you don't answer the question, then you're going to get an unsatisfactory in that area, because I'm not going to be able to grade you on that section of the rubric if you didn't answer one of your questions. So just wanted to highlight that each one of those questions that you're answering is going to be fulfilling a different section in the scoring rubric. Now, it's kind of the similar thing with the accomplishment paper. When you're looking at your accomplishments, again, you're going to have your general questions that I'm going to ask you to answer for that week. But then as you see the additional instructions that are given to you, that in order to comply with the requirements in the scoring rubric, you have to have an introduction that is separate from the body of your questions. Now, in saying that, the introduction is going to open up your topic. So whatever topic you're writing about, for instance, this week, using that as an example, you're going to be writing about a summarization of the crucifixion and the resurrection. So when you're writing your paper, you want to use your introduction to introduce the topic. And then as you move into the body of your paper, that's where you're going to answer your questions. So your questions are going to be in the body of your paper, along with the discussion and application questions. Again, that is part of the rubric requirement, is you have to have discussion and application questions in there. So one of the best ways to have discussion and application questions is as you're doing your research throughout the week, whatever challenging questions come to your mind, just write those down, jot those down on a piece of paper, and then as you are doing your assignment this week, or as you're getting ready to write your paper, then just weave those questions into your paper. So it's one of the best ways to do that, is write down those challenging questions and then weave those into your paper as you're writing your, as you're answering your questions as you're writing the paper this week. So your introduction is first, and then your body, which will contain all the questions that you're being asked, along with your discussion and application questions. And then you're going to close your paper with a separate paragraph that is either a conclusion that's going to refer back to your introduction, or with a closing prayer. And the closing prayer then is going to focus on what you've learned from that week's assignment. So again, you've got to have all of those requirements in there in order to, to be able to get the best grade that you can get on each one of those sections. And of course, last would be grammar, proper spelling, proper grammar. That's just an easy way, unfortunately, to lose points when you don't kind of spell check to make sure that everything in your paper is spelled correctly and that you're using proper grammar. So just wanted to go over that, because unfortunately there was points that were lost on all assignments this week, whether it was a discussion, whether it was the reflection or the accomplishment, because there was certain sections of the scoring rubric that was not included in your papers. So just want to highlight that, because again, as your teacher, I want all of you to get the best grade and scores that you can. And so making sure that you're fulfilling all the requirements is one key. The other point would be is making sure that you're fulfilling all of your or that you're fulfilling the word requirements, and that's another. You'll notice if you go back to your syllabus, your accomplishment papers had to be a minimum of 500 words. Your reflection is 250, and then your initial post in your discussion is 150, and then your replies back to your classmates is within 50 to 75 words. Now, if you don't, if you don't fill those word requirements, you'll notice with the accomplishment you lose 4 points. With the discussion and reflection, you lose 2 points. And so, again, that's an easy way to lose points. And again, I don't want you to lose points if you don't have to. The other thing is making sure that your assignments are submitted on time. You'll notice in the syllabus, if you're, for instance, we'll use the accomplishment paper. If your accomplishment paper is 1 day late, that's automatically 4 points, because each day that your assignment is late, it's 10% of your grade. So if your accomplishment is 1 day late, that's 4 points. If your accomplishment is 2 days late, that's 8 points. Same thing with the discussion and reflection. 1 day late, 2 points are off. 2 days late, you lose 4 points. And so you can imagine if you submit your paper, using an example of an accomplishment, if you submit your accomplishment 4 days late, you've automatically lost 16 points. Because 4 points are going to be deducted each day. So because if you look in the syllabus, unless I'm informed ahead of time, then if your paper is more than 10 days late, then you automatically get a 0. So just wanted to emphasize that to you, to make sure that you are getting your paper submitted on time. If there is something that occurs, an emergency occurs, or something happens that's going to prevent you to get your assignment on time, then please reach out to me beforehand and explain what's going on. I understand when things occur, so I'm here, and please just reach out to me and let me know specifically what's occurring. Now, the last thing I want to mention here is the issue of citing your papers. Please make sure that you are properly citing your papers when you submit those. With the ESV, sometimes when I give an assignment, I will have the page number where you're going to be going to read an article, where it's coming from. Even if that is provided for you, you still have to cite the ESV as your source. And again, please make sure that if you're using information from the ESV that you've directly quoted, you have to use quotation marks. It is clearly laid out in the syllabus what the penalties are if you are caught plagiarizing. Typically the first offense is you will automatically lose 50% off of your grade, and then it kind of goes from there. So please make sure that you are citing your papers correctly. If you have questions at all about proper citation, please go to the Start Here icon on the homepage. There's a section there where you can actually go through the Safe Assign system, which is kind of the University of Cumberland's a tool that is used for plagiarism. So you can actually go and submit your paper through that to make sure that that there's no plagiarism in your paper, or if something is found, that you can go back and properly cite your paper so that you're not being flagged for plagiarism. The other thing, there's another resource there called the UC. I think it's UC Citation Help Center. You can go there too, and that's going to help you, I think, with properly citing your papers in APA and then MLA, so that you are citing properly when you're quoting or if you're paraphrasing at all. So please make sure that you're double checking yourself to make sure that your papers are properly cited when you submit those. And again, if you have questions at all about the proper citation of your papers, please do reach out to me with those questions. Again, if I need to get additional information to you this week, then I will get another communication to you. I either will post another video or I'll use the course message center again to be able to get information to you. With that, I hope you have a great rest of your evening and a great rest of your week. I do look forward to working with you guys all again soon, or communicating with you guys all soon. But with that, have a great rest of your day, and we'll look forward to talking again soon. Bye.